welcome back to another video on my channel. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Nick Bard and I covered the Toronto Marlies for the Leafs Nation, and in today's video we got a couple things to talk about. Nick Robertson, Bobby McMann, and the new Leafs prospect Max Ellis, who's joined the Toronto Marlies. As always though, before we do get into the video, if you do enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. We hit 100 likes on last video, so let's try and hit 150 on this video. Comment down below whatever you'd like in the comment section, and if you do really enjoy it as well, subscribe, because that helps a lot. We're gonna start off the video by doing a little bit of house cleaning. We're gonna talk about a few injuries, a few players who've returned to the Marlies lineup, and first is Michaelis, who returned to the Marlies lineup in the last game after missing a long time. He didn't play in a game since November due to an injury, and he came into the last game. He scored an empty netter, and it was a really good sign just for him, and it was a good story as well. There was a post-game interview where he talked a little bit about just the process of what it was like going through this injury and just rehabbing to get back. And for anyone, it's tough. And when Greg Moore was asked about it after the game, he talked a lot about just the Leafs development staff, the doctors, the training staff. A lot of people went into getting Michaelis back and game ready, and credit to him, credit to everybody else, because when he came back into the lineup for the first time, he looked really good, and again added an empty net goal to put the Marlies in the win column. Another player that's returning from injury is Petruzzelli. He did skate with the Marlies on Wednesday at practice for the first time. He had concussion-like symptoms before their first game in Abbotsford a week or so ago, and he hasn't played since then, and it looks like he's turning the page and getting closer and closer to that return, so it would be Michael Hutchinson and Petruzzelli back in the net. It's also worth noting that Petruzzelli was on the all-rookie team in the ECHL this season. He had a really good season with the Newfoundland Growlers, which translated to come up and have success with the Toronto Marlies, and if you haven't seen my video on Petruzzelli, I'll link it right above, right here, and you can watch that about all the things regarding Petruzzelli and his strong play with the Marlies. And then the other two injuries, Joey Anderson, concussion, not sure when he might return. He's currently in return to play protocols. And then Joseph Woll, not sure when he's gonna return either. He's out with a shoulder injury that he suffered a few weeks ago. Now to the nitty-gritty. Alex Steeves, Bobby McMann. Both players are tied in goals with 21 this season, 2 away from the rookie goal record for the Marlies that's set at 23 by Josh Levo. There's a lot of time left for these two guys to break the record, and one of them could do it. Both of them could do it. I asked Alex Steeves a few days ago whether or not he's really paying attention to that. He said no. He actually found out about that rookie goal record a few days prior to that question, so he's not paying attention to it. But Bobby McMann has really come onto the scene as of late, especially just not even as of late, throughout the season. And Greg Moore was asked about McMahon today and just what about him stands out this season, and this is what Moore said.
Bobby's been very impressive. You could argue he might be one of our most valuable players on the team. Power play, penalty kill, starting to take more face-offs now, willingness to block shots, just his ability, his power and strength to transport the game from top of the circles to top of the circles, set up the O-zone, grab depth, forecheck and hit net as F1, and then a scoring touch around the net. He's really starting to round out his game, and his playmaking to move the puck and make his teammates around him better has really elevated.
I mean, he's not wrong. McMahon has been a valuable part to this team, and he said he's one of the MVPs, and I'd agree. There's so many things that McMahon has improved on this season. He's gotten a lot stronger. He's gotten a better shot. He's able to use everything in his toolbox and put it into one and make himself such a tough player to play against in the AHL. And like Petruzzelli, I made a video on him. If you want to watch that and I talk about him and his play, you can click here or here. I don't know where it is still, but anyways, there'll be a video on it, and you can check that out. One more player I do want to talk about before we get into Ellis is Nick Robertson. This guy has grown a lot this season. Although he's been out for most of it with an injury, Robertson has his shot, he has his defensive ability, he has his offensive capabilities, but one thing that I've saw a lot from him in the last couple games is just his confidence. His confidence is beaming. He's not afraid to go out there and dangle players to set up scoring chances, to get scoring chances. The confidence of this guy right now is through the roof, and if he continues this, in the AHL, there's no chance he's on the Marlies to begin next season. There's all of that, but Greg Moore has seen something else from Nick Robertson this season that many haven't.
Everyone sees the shot and the offense he can create. I don't think, and maybe people recognize it, but not necessarily see the impact it has, is when he's F1 on the neutral zone forecheck, the forecheck up ice, or he's the closest player to the puck when the opponent has the puck. His puck pressure and his relentlessness to just get on a guy, to take away that time and space to make everybody else's job behind him easier.
Right.
When you take away more time on a puck carrier, the brain has less time to process the game.
Yep.
They're going to make a more predictable play or a worse play. So then everybody else behind Robbie, it's just an easier read.
Yeah.
You know, like they just can see the game moving because that guy doesn't have time for deception, doesn't have time to make a creative play or have space to make a play. And then, so his ability to help the team to get the puck back and make it easy for everyone else is really impressive with his work ethic and his puck pressure.
All right, now finally we're going to talk about Max Ellis. He was signed last week by the Maple Leafs to a 2-year entry-level deal that begins next season. He's on a PTO with the Marlies right now. I got to talk to him on Wednesday, which is today, just about why he chose Toronto, what he is as a player, and just a few other things. He's coming from Notre Dame, where he had 28 points in his last 39 games this season, and he's another Notre Dame player who's come into this Leafs organization. You had Alex Steeves, you have Matt Hellickson, who's on an AHL contract, Graham Slaggert, who came at the same time as Ellis. There's a lot of familiar faces around, and it's very comfortable for him, and that's what he said on Wednesday. A few other reasons why he said he chose Toronto was a lot about development. I think when it comes to prospects, they want to be in the NHL, and they want to be focused on. I don't think any player wants to go into an organization and just not have them be individually focused on as players. And rather than going to an AHL team and just playing to win a Calder Cup rather than focusing on development, I think the Marlies' new perspective on it all, of just focusing on development rather than wanting to go for the Calder Cup, they'd love to do both. But I think the focus on development was a big thing here for Ellis. And for a lot of prospects, they want to be able to develop. They want to be able to be good in the NHL. And I think that really helps that the Leafs explain that to prospects, and prospects understand it, and then in turn they want to come to this team, and then that in turn will make them better in the future, both the prospect and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He also said he signed with the Leafs just because of the historic franchise that the Toronto Maple Leafs are, and that makes total sense. But when you look at him as a player, I think you see him in the AHL this season for a few games. The Leafs and Marlies are obviously in tight playoff races, so I don't think the Marlies in particular are going to really want to get him in unless he's playing very, very well and molds with this team really quickly. But when you look at next season, that's going to be the time where this guy really goes and tries to flourish in the AHL. And if he can do that, the next season, it could be an NHL spot for him. But at this moment in time, I think he sticks with the Marlies for this season and plays to see what he's got, and then next season again is where it'll really begin to see where he's at as a prospect. He's a smaller guy at 5'9", but he can produce, he can contribute to this team in a lot of ways. He's very skilled, he sees the ice very well. If he's not contributing in goals, he's contributing in assists. If he's not doing assists, he has goals. There's a lot of good things about this player, and I can understand why Kyle Dubas, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Marlies are taking a chance on him. And if you do want to read more on the interview that I had with Ellis, I'm going to have it on the Leafs Nation tomorrow, Thursday, so I'll put a link in the description below and you can read it and you can see just what he said and why he chose Toronto and what the future looks like for him. But one more thing on Ellis, I did ask Greg Moore on Wednesday just what intrigues him about Ellis coming to the Marlies, and this is what he said.
His skill set, how he thinks the game, it's no surprise after seeing him, the production he's had in the college level. In his first game, he made some really good plays. He positioned himself around the rink really well in the offensive zone. you know, it's still early for me to have a full rounded picture, but he's had a really strong impression to start.
Again, it'll be interesting to see how much playing time Ellis gets for the rest of this season and going into next season. He's going to be in Toronto this summer, so he'll be working with the Leafs development staff all summer long and really finding out how he can power through and become a good AHL player that begins next season. But for now, it's going to look like he's going to be on the outside looking in on the Marlies going through a tight playoff race. And right now, they are in that tight playoff race. They're currently in the position where they would play the first round best of 3. I don't think they want to do that. I think they would much rather get that bye and play in the second round for the first round, if that makes sense. But when you look at that Marlies team, there's going to be a lot of Robertson, Hosang, there's going to be Steves, there's going to be SDA, there's going to be McMahon, Cini, if Anderson's healthy. You're going to have a back end of Christian Rubins, Philip Myers, Joseph Duzak. And then if the goalies come back, it'll likely be Keith Petruzzelli and Michael Hutchinson, unless things happen, but I can't see anything else transpiring where Shalgren comes back down or Wool is healthy at that point to get back in, unless he practices in the next few days or the next week. But yeah, that's all I got for Marlies content today. Again, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. 150 likes on the video. Can we do it? Yes, we can. If you do have anything, suggestions, what you'd like to see in the future from me, put it in the comment section down below. If you want to chat Marlies, by all means do that. And if you do enjoy the video a lot, make sure to subscribe just to know how much you guys are liking the videos. But yeah, again, that is going to be it for me on this video with the Marlies, Max Ellis, Nick Robertson, Bobby McMann, a whole lot of other people. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support on the recent videos. I appreciate everything, and we'll see you in the next one.